Have you ever lost sleep wondering if your financial situation is normal or if everyone else has figured out something you haven't? Maybe you scroll through social media seeing friends post about exotic vacations while you're checking your bank balance twice before buying groceries. Well, today we're ripping off the Band-Aid and diving deep into the real financial reality of everyday Americans. And trust me, some of these numbers will absolutely blow your mind. Now, what's fascinating is that most of us live in complete financial darkness when it comes to knowing what's actually normal. We make assumptions based on what we see around us, but the truth is often wildly different from what we imagine. Understanding where you truly stand isn't just about curiosity, though. It's about arming yourself with the knowledge to make smarter money decisions and potentially change your entire financial trajectory. Greetings, I am the Wealth Wizard. Before we dive in, do yourself the smartest favor you'll make today. Press the subscribe button. Why? Because every tip I share compounds just like money in the market. Miss one, and you're literally leaving wealth on the table. Think about it. People spend hours scrolling nonsense online, but you can secure your financial future in seconds by clicking one button. If you're serious about money, then subscribing isn't optional. It's inevitable. Let's start with the foundation of everything financial, your paycheck. When that direct deposit hits your account every 2 weeks, are you earning more or less than the typical worker? The median weekly earnings for full-time workers sits right around $1,000. That translates to roughly $52,000 annually before taxes take their massive bite. But here's where it gets interesting. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, and Medicare strip away their portions, you're looking at taking home somewhere between $35,000 to $40,000. Suddenly, that original number doesn't feel quite as substantial, does it? And remember, this is individual income we're talking about, not combined household earnings. Now let's dive into something that should terrify more people than it currently does: retirement savings. The median amount Americans have tucked away for their golden years? A mere $65,000. But wait, it gets worse. About 25% of Americans have exactly $0 saved for retirement. Not a penny. That's 1 in 4 people planning to survive entirely on Social Security payments, assuming the program even exists in its current form when they need it. The breakdown by age is even more alarming. People under 25 have saved less than $2,000. The 25 to 34 crowd has managed to accumulate around $14,000. Even those nearing retirement at 65 and older only have a median balance of $88,000. Let's put that $88,000 in perspective. Using the standard 4% withdrawal rule, that gives you about $3,500 per year to live on. That's less than $300 monthly from your retirement accounts. Could you survive on $300 a month? Even with a paid-off house, that wouldn't cover groceries, utilities, healthcare, and basic living expenses. Speaking of Social Security, since so many people are counting on it heavily, the average monthly benefit is around $1,550. That's roughly $18,600 annually. While that might sound workable, remember, this is the average. If you had years of low earnings or gaps in employment, your benefit could be significantly lower. Let's shift to something affecting your daily life right now: spending. American households spend an average of $55,777 monthly, totaling about $67,000 annually. Think about what this means. If the average household spends $67,000 per year, they need to bring home at least that much after taxes just to break even. Want money left over for savings or investments? You need to earn significantly more. Housing devours the biggest chunk at $1,885 monthly. That's over $22,000 annually, just for shelter. Food comes second at $691 monthly, while transportation consumes $913. Combined, Housing and transportation alone eat up $2,700 before you've paid for anything else. Here's something that might surprise you about Americans. The average credit score sits at 715, which is actually pretty solid. Credit scores range from 300 to 850, so 715 puts most people in good territory. This suggests many Americans are doing some things right with credit management, generally paying bills on time and maintaining reasonable debt levels. But don't let that fool you into thinking everyone has mastered credit. Plenty of people still struggle with scores in the 500s and 600s, wondering why they can't get decent interest rates on anything. Now let's talk about the financial cancer that's eating away at millions of households: credit card debt. The average household carries over $9,000 in credit card debt. This isn't a car loan or mortgage where you're buying something that holds value. This is $9,000 spent on stuff that's probably gathering dust in closets or already thrown away. What makes this particularly painful is the interest rates. We're talking 15, 20, sometimes 25% or higher. If you're paying 20% interest on $9,000 in credit card debt, you're throwing away $1,800 annually just in interest payments. That's money that could be building wealth instead of enriching credit card companies. Most of this debt comes from buying things people don't actually need. Sure, sometimes credit cards cover genuine emergencies, but let's be honest, most of that $9,000 went toward clothes, electronics, dining out, online shopping sprees, and impulse purchases that seemed important at the time. Let's examine the best single metric for measuring overall financial health: net worth. This is simply what you own minus what you owe. Add up your house, cars, bank accounts, retirement savings, and everything else valuable. Then subtract your mortgage, credit card debt, student loans, and other obligations. The median net worth for American households is about $122,000, but this varies dramatically by age. If you're under 35, the median net worth is less than $14,000. For someone who's 25 and just starting out, $14,000 isn't terrible. But if you're 34 and still sitting at $14,000, that should trigger some serious self-reflection about your financial trajectory. The 35 to 44 group reaches $91,000. The 45 to 54 crowd hits $168,000. People between 55 and 64 have accumulated $212,000, while those 65 to 74 hit $266,000. What's fascinating about these numbers is they're actually achievable for most people with decent incomes and basic financial discipline. You don't need to be a stock market genius or launch the next tech unicorn. You just need to consistently spend less than you earn and invest the difference wisely. But there's another crucial piece of this puzzle: savings rates. Americans save about 6% of their income after taxes. Just 6%. Now, 6% might not sound terrible initially, but let's think about what this really means. If you're saving 6% of your income, and some needs to go toward short-term goals like car purchases or house down payments, there's precious little left for long-term wealth building. The average down payment on a home is $62,000. Kitchen renovations average $26,000. New cars cost over $47,000. If you're only saving 6% and these expenses keep popping up, how much actually makes it into retirement accounts? Most financial experts recommend saving at least 10 to 15% specifically for retirement, and that's on top of other savings goals. Want to retire early and not work until 70? You probably need to save even more. Here's something that might surprise you about retirement timing. The average retirement age in America is 61. That might sound appealing initially. Who wouldn't want to retire at 61? But there's a major catch. You can't collect full Social Security benefits until age 67. So if you're retiring at 61, you need to bridge that 6-year gap somehow. If you start working at 22 and retire at 61, you've spent 39 years in the workforce. After nearly 4 decades of early mornings, commutes, difficult bosses, and endless meetings, you finally get to retire with maybe $88,000 in savings. That gives you about $300 monthly to live on. Does that sound like a fair trade? Here's what really should keep you awake at night. Someone reaching 65 can expect to live another 19 to 21 years. If you retire at 61, you might have 25 years or more of retirement to fund. That's longer than most people's entire careers. And how many of those 25 years will you be healthy enough to truly enjoy? Time has a way of catching up with all of us. This is why understanding these statistics isn't just academic curiosity. It's about recognizing that the average person's approach to money simply isn't working. When typical Americans have less than $90,000 saved for retirement while carrying $9,000 in credit card debt, something is fundamentally broken. But here's the empowering news. Once you understand what average looks like, it becomes crystal clear how to do better. And doing better doesn't require magical formulas or secret knowledge only wealthy people possess. If you're consistently saving more than 6% of your income, you're already ahead of most people. If you're avoiding credit card debt, you're way ahead of the game. If you understand your investments and regularly contribute to retirement accounts, you're lapping the competition. The reality is that beating these statistics is achievable with basic financial discipline. You don't need a 6-figure salary or inheritance money. You just need to be more intentional about money than the average person. And frankly, that bar is set pretty low. Think about it this way. If the average household spends $5,500 monthly and you can live comfortably on $4,500, you've freed up $12,000 annually for savings and investments. Do that consistently for decades and you'll be in a completely different financial league than your peers. The same principle applies across all these statistics. Beat the average by a little in multiple areas and the compound effect over time becomes massive. Earn slightly more than $52,000 yearly, save more than 6%, avoid credit card debt, and invest consistently in low-cost index funds. You'll retire with significantly more than $88,000. What I find most revealing about these numbers is how they expose the gap between what people say they want and what they actually do. Everyone claims they want financial security. Everyone says they want comfortable retirement. Everyone says they want to stop worrying about money. But the average person's behavior doesn't align with these stated goals. Maybe that's because most people don't know what average actually looks like. Maybe they assume everyone else has their financial act together, so they don't feel urgency to change their habits. Or maybe they know they should do better, but don't know where to start, or think it's too late to make a meaningful difference. If some of these statistics hit uncomfortably close to home, don't panic. The fact that you're here learning about money and trying to understand your financial situation already puts you ahead of most people. The majority never even take time to figure out where they stand or what they need to do differently. Use these numbers as motivation, not as an excuse to give up. If you're 35 with less than $14,000 in net worth, that doesn't doom you to financial mediocrity. It means you have work to do, but you also have 30 years or more to get it right. If you're already doing better than these averages in some areas, don't let success breed complacency. Maybe you have excellent credit and no credit card debt, but your retirement savings lag behind. Or maybe you're great at saving money, but keeping it all in savings accounts, earning practically nothing instead of investing for growth. These financial statistics should be eye-opening, but they should also be empowering. When you know what normal looks like, you can make informed decisions about whether you want to be normal or better than that. Personally, I think you deserve better than retiring at 61 with $88,000, hoping Social Security doesn't run out of money. You deserve better than carrying credit card debt and spending every dollar you earn. You deserve the peace of mind that comes with having your financial house in order. These statistics show us where the average person ends up, but they don't have to define your destination. If you found this analysis helpful and want to explore additional wealth building strategies, I've created another video showing how you can get started right now. Check it out on screen right now so you don't waste another day on wasting the potential with your finances.